Welcome back to the Fling channel, Fantasy Fling, Daily Fantasy Sports. We're making a Millie Week 5, looking at Draftkings Millie Maker contest specifically. Paul, Eric, what's going on? How we doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
Great.
Doing good. How about you?
Trying to bank this thing this week. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. We're going to jump into a little walk of shame, little Vegas lines. We're going to talk about our top stacks, some of our core plays, some of our sleepers that we like for the slate. And we say sleepers, we mean guys under 10% owned. And then we're going to do a little dice roll and do a little lineup building for how we are going to attack the slate. So let's go ahead and I guess we could do the walk of shame. But by the way, if you like this kind of content, let us know. Hit that like button, comment. Let us know who you plan to play in the Millie Maker. Who's your play that you're going to leverage the field of 190,000 to take down the Millie? But let's get into the walk of shame, gentlemen. Started out with you guys. I'm not sure that I had one last week, so walk of shame for me, Eric, Paul.
Yeah. I had a pretty good week, so I can't really say my biggest walk of shame is I sat DeAndre Swift in pretty much every single league I was in because he had been playing terrible, and they were talking about Rashawn Johnson getting more carries. So I benched him in basically every league I had, and he went off, of course, on my bench.
Yeah. So, I mean,
That was my walk of shame.
that's expectable.
That's fair. You didn't want to play him most of the year. You'd have done well not playing him. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my biggest walk of shame last week came during watching Derrick Henry put up 199 yards and realizing I dumped his ass after the foot injury instead of having him as a keeper, thinking this is probably going to be it. And that was a walk of shame in this house.
You didn't want Derrick Henry as a keeper being on the Ravens? That's crazy. That's definitely.
Guy's built different, man. He's built different.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Thinking he can't do this again, and then putting up 199 yards.
No fried foods. Works out like a beast. No artificial sweeteners. His body's a temple, Paul.
He's 18 yards away from 10,000. Might be the last running back to hit that.
Yeah. I guess if I had a walk of shame, it would more so be this week. I kind of snoozed on the waiver wire. I woke up Wednesday. I was like, oh, man, I didn't even look at it. Didn't even put any bids. None of my teams are actually cruising. So, there's a week where my dynasty team for DFS Army, I'm decimated by injuries and bye weeks. And I really should have hit the waiver wire hard, and I just didn't do it. I got too busy playing the Monday DFS slate, doing some weekend review videos. So, I snooze. That's my walk of shame.
That'll happen, man. That'll happen. I've done that before. Right now, where I'm at, it doesn't happen until 9 a.m. So at least I have I've got a little buffer in case I forget.
Yeah, my dog always one of them likes to wake me up around 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. So I'm like, man, might as well check what's going on.
Yeah, I get that. Well, guys, let's go ahead and hop into the Vegas lines. So a few games stand out, which we are going to get to when we do our dice roll. We'll talk about those. And then, you guys, if there's any game environments that really stick out that you want to chat about, feel free to chime in. But the top one on the slate is obviously San Francisco. That's a 49-point game total. And, San Francisco and Arizona. And San Francisco has the 28 team total. So, that's a side I'm looking to target in that game. I feel like I'm not even sure you need bringbacks. I could see that being an onslaught, but I guess we'll see how that one plays out. If Kyler Murray will kind of get his squad to come back to life finally. They very much disappointed last week in a good spot against the Commanders. So I don't know. They weren't good last year. Maybe they're not good. Surprise, surprise. So that's a 49-point total. Eric, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like that game. I think if you look back to last season, the Cardinals were pretty bad, really bad. They were one of the bottom offenses the whole time until Kyler Murray came in. I think they started slow, but I can see them kind of coming back. It's a divisional matchup, and anything can happen in those. I kind of like the stacking of the Kyler Murray side because it's going to be less people that do it. But yeah, I do like that game. I think I can see it hitting the over for sure.
Definitely. And, this just changed while we started recording, but we got another 49-point total. So, to your point earlier, I think these are changing pretty quick. We got Buffalo and Cincy divisional matchup. These divisional matchups could definitely be wild. Speaking of, Eric, we got a divisional matchup this week. It's Raiders week. Broncos Raiders. Eric's a Raiders fan. Me and Paul are Broncos fans. So
Yeah.
What's the point total? 36. I'm going under.
Yeah.
Both the offenses are pretty bad, but both the defenses are pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not looking good.
I'm not really looking to go with anybody from that game outside of maybe the Broncos defense.
Yeah, exactly. Play the Broncos defense and just be done. Be done with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, Baltimore and Cincy, there's pieces on both sides of that. Obviously, Derrick Henry's in play. Burrow's in play. I think Chase is in play and his pass catchers. So that's a good game we'll be looking to target. And then there's the other one that really stands out is going to be Green Bay going on the road to play Los Angeles. Los Angeles is giving up the second most points. I think they're giving up about 28 points a game. So their defense has been terrible. And we know that Green Bay's offense is really good. I mean, God, they made Malik Willis look serviceable. We know how bad that guy looked in Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not actually liking that game a lot. Christian Watson's going to be out, avoided IR, so Wicks is going to be in. Wicks, Reed, Jordan Love still coming off an injury, so he might be sitting there in turret mode, just slinging it, not really running around a lot. So yeah, I do like that game environment a lot.
We got some chalk pieces from that game. Kyron Williams looking to be chalk. I mean, he just continues to produce regardless of the game script. And then Jordan Whittington's getting a lot of ownership too. So we'll be, there will be some chalky pieces from this game. Jordan Love, I think, is projected for the highest ownership, and it makes sense. Threw 4 touchdowns last week. Being rusty, still produced. So, yeah, those are the main ones. And then the last one, I think that, is a game that you'll be looking to target for your, GPP builds, your Millie Maker builds, is Buffalo going on the road to Houston. Maybe we get a little Stephon Diggs revenge game narrative. Maybe Josh Allen wants to prove that Stephon Diggs isn't as good as he thinks he is, and Josh Allen wants to throw 5 touchdowns. I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it's both sides of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's doable, but I think which they don't have a lot of passing weapons to begin with, but what I think Shakir is out. So that could lead to a sleeper of Keon Coleman. I guess that's kind of the hint as moving forward. But I hate to use that crutch argument of like, who else is there? But I don't know. He's going to throw the ball to
Kincaid,
Keon Coleman, and there's not a lot of players. Maybe James Cook.
Yeah, and Kincaid's going to be the only other one on the end of that. So.
Yeah, well, I have a spoiler from that game. It's not Keon Coleman, so we'll get to that. But let's go ahead and jump into our top stats. All right, Paul, we'll start it out with you this time. 3 top stacks for you. Like?
Sure. My top stack is going to be the Packers game with Jordan Love. Either Jalen Reed at 6,500 or Wicks at 5,000. That's going to be value there. And then Tucker Kraft at 3,500 if you are looking for a tight end piece with some value.
Yes. I like that. I think Tucker Kraft will probably end up being pretty high owned when it's all said and done. So will Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, actually, we can kind of look at the domination station here and see where he's projecting for ownership.
Yeah, I think on that one, I'm going to lean more towards the Wicks side. Obviously, you saw how much I paid in for him this week. But
Jaden Reed right now is projected for second ownership. So It's definitely going to be a chalky stack, but as long as you are getting different with other parts of your lineup, I don't think it really matters. So I like that one. What else you got, Paul?
I'm going to be looking at the Cardinals slate on this with Murray, Harrison, and McBride coming back this week. I don't think 49ers are really that much of a stop-it-all defense, although I can go on the other side with Kittle. Kittle is actually questionable. If he is out, that's actually helps the stack quite a bit because I don't think the Cards secondary is really that – well, they're not even really that good. So going Purdy and Debo. Love to see Ayuk get going again. We'll see.
I like it. You got a third one, or is that going to do it?
That's kind of going to do it for me.
Okay.
On the
we don't want to force it, Paul. Two's fine. Two's fine, okay? You don't want to do Bo Nix for your third stack? What's wrong with you?
Man, maybe we'll put up more than 10 points this week.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The Raiders, they're not very good on offense either. Their defense is actually pretty good, even though they score a lot of points.
Red Zone, for not making me watch that.
But here's the thing: are they any good when Crosby's not out there? Because we got a small sample size of him missing games.
They held the Browns to 16 last week, so which I'm not sure is saying much, but they held the Browns to 16, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they're okay, but obviously they're better with him.
Yeah. We'll see for sure. Okay. Well, moving on to you, Eric. Who are your top stacks?
Yeah, so
like you guys are going to
Paul stole my favorite one. My favorite stack is Love and Reed. I'll fully admit last year I did not think Jordan Love would be anything. I thought he'd be a terrible quarterback, and I was completely wrong. Fully admit, but I'm all on board this year for having almost every single league I'm in. But I love the stack of, no pun intended, Love and Reed.
Yeah,
that's my number one. I actually have one that it's kind of dependent on if he plays or not. But if Anthony Richardson sits, I like Joe Flacco and Pittman. I think he brought him back to life for the first time last week, and I think he's going to be fairly low owned. I'm not certain yet. I couldn't. The numbers I was looking at didn't have a projection ownership for him. At least not the ones I saw. But if Flacco doesn't play, then my alternative would be Geno and DK. I really like the Flacco Pittman stack. He finally brought it back to life. 10%?
Yeah. Courtesy of DFS Army. Get about 10% ownership.
Okay.
So.
But the other one I liked, the third one, was Jaden Daniels, McLaurin. They seem to have a connection. I've been a big McLaurin fan over the years, and I think he finally found a quarterback. So I like that one as well. So all my stacks are kind of chalky, I guess. The one I put that was like, if you're feeling wild, you want to kind of go for it, is Josh Allen and Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Kind of a bonus stack if I'll try something different.
Well, I like that. I got one for you. If you want to play Love and you don't want a chalky stack, I got a name for you. Bo Melton. Remember Bo Mountain?
I do.
Melton last year, he popped like in the playoffs and at the end of the year last year. And with being down 2 wide receivers, maybe he could be your contrarian guy, who's probably
absolutely
almost stone minimum. So
yeah,
cool.
I like that.
There you go. So that's it for your stacks, right?
That's it for my stacks. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'm there too with Love. Love this week. So I like that. I like that stack. I think if you're playing Love stacks, you can look to get different with the Bo Mountain, obviously, or you could, bring back with like a Demarcus Robinson, some guy who's going to be low owned. Maybe Tutu Atwell, just look for low ownership. Of course, if you're a DFS Army subscriber, you can sort by ownership and kind of look for some of those low owned guys, which is certainly nice. And I like that one. My other stack that I'm going back to is Purdy. I'm going to keep going to Purdy until he breaks the slate, basically. And he did it a lot last year. I like him with Ayuk because Ayuk is looking to be low owned. And just one thing we've learned from back testing is when you look at back at these slates and you see a team with like a 27 and 28 point team total, like more times than not, you just want to play a stack from that game. So I like Purdy. The only thing with Purdy is him and if you're stacking Ayuk or Debo, those two don't really correlate very well together. So I would do like Purdy to Ayuk and maybe Kittle if Kittle plays, or Purdy to like Debo and maybe Kittle. I wouldn't stack Debo and Ayuk together. Just FYI on that.
Yeah.
Then my third stack, Josh Allen, because he's actually not projected for a lot of ownership. From what I was looking at earlier, I think Josh Allen is projected for like 6% ownership. And anytime like you see Josh Allen on a slate and he's projected for pretty low ownership, that's kind of when you want to play him, specifically when it's a high game total. The thing about Allen is nice is Shakir's out. Curtis Samuel is a cheap stacking option. Keon Coleman is a cheap stacking option. And you don't have to force stacks with Josh Allen. Like he's actually been in the winning Millie Maker lineup twice in the past year, naked. So unstacked, running naked out there like Will Ferrell in Old School.
Yeah, I mean, he spreads the ball around, so the points are there. You just don't have
Yeah.
a second guy that's getting funneled.
Yeah, well, I mean, he'll also have these 2 to 3 touchdown rushing games. So
Yeah.
that's why you don't necessarily need to stack him. If you do, you can just do it with one. You don't have to double stack him. So, and that's definitely the way I set up the optimizer is just stack with at least one, which is nice. But yeah, if you're hand building, you could certainly not stack him. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the top stacks. Let's go ahead and jump into our core players we like. All right, Paul, we'll start with you again.
Sure.
Who do you like?
So this week, as far as core players, I said it in my walk of shame. I'm going with Henry again. You're going to have to pay up for him at 7,800, followed by another wide receiver you're going to have to pay up for with Nico Collins, putting up numbers every week. And then Deontay Johnson at 6,100. Until they bump him up to you in the 7,000 range, he's getting the targets.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to get him all into my lineups.
All right. Tougher matchup against the Bears, but the volume is insane. So get 14 targets. I like Deontay. So you just got 2 sleepers or 2 cores again, huh?
That's 3. Henry, Collins, and Deontay.
Oh, Collins. Sorry, I skipped over Collins.
Oh, man. Just ignoring the man, huh? Putting up 100-yard games every week, and you're forgetting his name.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not forgetting him. I promise you that. All right, go ahead, Eric.
I missed a golden opportunity, like right when we were talking about stacks, because my shirt right here is a TCP IP stack, and so it's an IT type shirt. So I should have mentioned that because it's a computer stack.
Yeah.
Then a stat anyway.
We're nerding out on you like all kinds.
I know, right? So Paul took one of the ones I had, which is Deontay, and again, I hate to use the argument of like who else is there, but he seems to be getting a lot of volume since Dalton took over. Tougher matchup, like you said, but I do like the volume. I mean, especially being full PPR. The other one I have is Josh Jacobs. I think this is the week where he finally kind of takes off. We all know throughout the years, Jacobs will have, 3 or 4 touchdown games. Like games will score 3 or 4 touchdowns at a time. This might be the opportunity for him. And the other one is someone I'm super high on, always have been, is Ken Walker. It's my cousin. For those who don't know, that's my last name. But anyway, Ken Walker, I think he's a great player, and it's fun to watch. I don't know if you saw that play last week where he got taken down but didn't touch the ground, and then got like flipped over and still didn't touch the ground and got up and ran. Pretty crazy. But Josh Jacobs, Ken Walker, and Deontay Johnson are my 3 cores that I like this week.
I love the Josh Jacobs call so much because we are going to get Jaden Reed chalk. We're getting Jordan Love chalk. And Jacobs is getting a decent amount of ownership, but I think he's a way that just like you could just play him from that game. And maybe those like all those Jordan Love to Jaden Reed stacks fail, right? And it's just been bad touchdown regression, and he's going against a team that's allowing 4.8 yards per carry. So I'm actually kind of irritated with myself that when I was doing my cores this morning that I forgot to include Jacobs because I plan to be pretty heavy on him. So great call there. I like that.
Thank you.
I'm out with you guys on Deontay this week though. I don't like Deontay this week going against the Bears. I think it's a good week to fade him, but the volume is certainly there. So I understand the play. I do. Paul stole
Well, he
my
doesn't get hurt.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing with Deontay. You're like, I should never have played chalk Deontay. I'm such a freaking donkey. Like this dude, you just got hurt in the first series of the first quarter. Like that's Deontay. You're like that.
Yep.
There goes my day. So, yeah. But I like Henry a lot in this spot. He's averaged like 140 rushing yards and like a touchdown, like every game over the last 3 games. So I think it's a good spot for Henry going against, a Cincy team that isn't super good against the run. Like they're not a top 10 run defense, and it's a high game total, and he's just going to get the rushes at the goal line. Like they don't really risk Lamar Jackson if they don't have to, right? So he doesn't. Yeah. He runs a lot, but he doesn't like run for touchdowns as much as everyone thinks. So I like Henry in that spot. 25.5 implied team total, high projected game total, and Kyron and Jordan Mason getting all the ownership. Like they're both projected for like 30% ownership, and then there's Derrick Henry down there about 15, which is pretty low for a running back, actually in a good spot. And actually, Jordan Mason is projecting for 41% ownership.
He's definitely a cash game play for sure.
Dude, yeah. So, I do my cheat sheet at DFS Army for cash games. He's a core play for me. Like, you cannot play cash without playing him.
Yeah.
% ownership. But in tournaments, that's a great way to leverage the field. Fade that chalk. Play Purdy instead. Play Ayuk. Play Debo. They're going to score points, but maybe those guys get the touchdowns. Or Jawan Jennings will get 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I'd be crazy if you did it again.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Well, that's going to do it for cores. We're going to do sleepers, but let's do the dice roll, guys. So as we're going through our sleepers, we can these are the games we're going to be looking to target. So we're going to do a dice roll. Eric, why don't you start it out first? We'll do a dice roll for you, and then Paul, and then I'll do my dice roll, and then we'll take turns going through our sleepers. So this is for Eric.
Okay.
It's got to be a 1, a 2, or a 3. Okay, you got 2. I was like, is it going to be 6 every time? Is this broken? So Ravens and Bengals. That's a game you have to have a stack of some sort. It doesn't have to be the quarterbacks. Just has to be some sort of stack. We'll do Paul next. It's got to be a 1 or a 3.
These 6s today.
I know. This might take a while. It's never taken this long. There we go. 1.
All right.
All right. So Paul got the 49ers and Cardinals. And I guess I got to stack Jordan Love. Oh, damn. I'll take that.
That's the one I was hoping I would get. But then my answer would be obvious of who I was stacking. So,
yeah. All right. So, that said, we'll kind of go through our sleepers. Then we will do that portion of it. All right, so since I'm going last, I will basically do my sleepers first. So the guys I really like, these are guys. They're going to be under 10%. I kind of prefer if they're closer to 5%. They don't necessarily need to be like a low salary player that no one's on. It could be a stud that everyone's sleeping on this week, right? So for me, it's going to be Curtis Samuel. My top guy, Curtis Samuel, he's 4,200. We have Khalil Shakir out. Curtis Samuel, I think, is going to slide into that Shakir role. They've kind of want to been getting him more involved, but he got hurt in camp, so I think they've been ramping him up slowly. That's kind of been the thing with Curtis Samuel. Sometimes he's a little injury prone. And with Shakir out, I love him this week at 4,200. I'm seeing him right now projected for 1% ownership, so very low. So I like Curtis Samuel as my sleeper. I prefer to stack him with Josh Allen, but I think a 4K guy, like you don't necessarily need to stack them. Like you just need to cycle through like a lot of these 4K guys that can really provide tournament winning value and win you the tournament. So I'm always looking, studying past million maker lineups. When I look at them, there's often one guy in the 3 to 4K range who hits like 5 to 7x the salary, right? So like you need those guys. You need to be looking to target those guys. Brandon Ayuk is a guy that I think I'm going to be looking to play this week. I think this is a potential get right spot for him. He did a little better last week, started to come on. He's projected for 6% ownership. Jordan Mason is mega chalk. That seems like the perfect direct leverage play to me. You can play him by himself. You can play him with Purdy. So I like that spot. And then last sleeper, Austin Eckler. Brian Robinson Jr. might be out this week. Even if he's not out, Eckler's back. He's going to play. And he's projected for less than 1% ownership. It's pretty cheap. He's 5,600. There's going to be a lot of weird running back chalk. Trey Sermon, Javonte Williams, a lot of these guys like Trey Sermon's never done anything in the league. Talented, but just been a massive disappointment. These guys are going to be higher owned. Yeah, like give me Eckler in that game environment. You can actually run on Cleveland a little bit, so I think it's a much better matchup for them, and they can be attacked with pass catching running backs. So even if Brian Robinson Jr. plays and is potentially limited, I like Eckler. He would be a smash for me if Brian Robinson Jr. is out.
So Eckler's one of those guys who's underrated, always forgotten about how good he is. And he's from Colorado, so even better.
Yeah. So are you guys done with your lineups?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm very, very close.
Okay.
Just about there.
So whoever wants to go next for your sleepers, we can go ahead and do that.
Sure. I can do mine. So I'm going with Dontavian Wicks at 5 to 10% ownership, 5,000. Going the opposite of Reed on that stack. And then another one that I'm going with, it's a little bit deeper, and I'm really doing a dark throw out here. At 3,900 is going to be Darius Slayton with Luke Neighbors out this week.
I like that.
And then, Whittington at 4,600. I think he's showing 5 to 10%.
Okay. Whittington's actually projected at 18%.
18? Okay, I had him.
Yeah, this is why we got to get you a DFS Army subscription, because you're using this other site and they're way off, but it's okay.
Way off. How can anyone know this?
Okay. Eric, are you ready to deliver
I'm
your
ready.
sleepers?
Yeah. So I mentioned one of them earlier, the rookie Keon Coleman. I know he hasn't done much this year. Sometimes rookies break out mid-season and go from there. We'll see how it is. Obviously, it's pretty inexpensive, very low owned. But Keon Coleman. The other one I have is it depends if Flacco plays or not again. But if Flacco plays, I like Josh Downs. He had a huge week last week.
Okay.
And last I saw, his ownership was fairly low. And the last one I have is kind of expensive, so it's kind of like a ballsy call, if you want to say it. But Tyreek Hill, everyone's forgotten about him. His ownership's really low, but he's a guy that can take any play to the house. Only takes 1 or 2 plays for him to make the week, so he's kind of still expensive. His price hasn't dropped, but his ownership is really pretty low from what I saw.
Yes, it is pretty low. In fact, I was seeing him for like 2% or something like that. So.
Yeah, he's really low, and I get it because the quarterback play's been really bad. But Tyreek is that guy that can, score 20 points or 18 points on one play.
I love it. Actually, I was tilting the other night a little bit because I played the Monday night slate, and dude, Tyler Huntley crushed Tyreek Hill. Like he should have broke the slate. Like he was wide open for a touchdown. Like he was open for potential 2 touchdowns, and Huntley just couldn't deliver the ball. But if he puts the ball where it's supposed to be, like Tyreek Hill can easily have 30 points plus. That's just how he is. So
Yeah, I mean, had those 2 balls landed, we'd be talking a different conversation. He probably wouldn't be a sleeper this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's second week with him, so he's got more time with the starters now since, it's been kind of he just took over last week. So, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I love it. Well, let's get into our lineups, guys. Paul, you want to start?
Yeah, let's go. So getting the Cardinals-San Francisco game.
Okay.
Starting with Calamari.
Calamari.
Calamari. Going over Ramondre Stevenson. Kenneth Walker. Your brother. From another mother. And then, like I said, I wanted to go Marvin Harrison to complete the stack there.
Okay.
And then going with Nico Collins, Dontavian Wicks, Slayton as my flex, and then Kraft and Kraft as tight end, and then the Broncos D.
Okay. Yeah, Marvin Harrison's low owned this week. Everyone's off of him after last week. So
Great. Let's have a bounce back.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah. So say the whole lineup again.
So it is Murray, Stevenson, Walker, Nico Collins, Martin Harrison, Dontavian Wicks, Slayton in the flex, and then Kraft and the Denver D.
All right. I like it. Right on. Well, right. Eric, you're up.
Yeah, man. So I got the Ravens and Bengals. I went with the Burrow side of things. I went with the Burrow Chase stack, which is, it's obviously at any point Chase has had multiple 3 touchdown games before, but so I have the Burrow and Chase as a stack, and I have Flowers on the other side as well.
Nice.
They haven't thrown the ball a lot, but when they do, he's got a huge target share, so he could be due for a big game if there's a high scoring game between the two. One of my running backs, actually, you had mentioned him earlier, was Eckler. Even if Brian Robinson plays, I'm wondering if they're gonna, if the game gets out of hand, I don't know how much they'll actually put him in the game. They may limit him. Sure. Put McNichols in there. So I have Eckler in there. James Cook I have as my other running back, just because we talked about earlier, just I don't know how much volume the receivers are going to get, but James Cook, he's someone Josh Allen trusts in the passing game, and you might get a lot of passes to him. Brian Thomas, I have him as the other receiver for the Jags. They need a win. They're 0-4. He's a deep threat guy. He can make a big play. For tight end, I have Evan Ingram. Of course, that's contingent if he plays or not. He's kind of that hamstring injury. He's kind of worked his way back up. So another one I have for my flex, which you had mentioned earlier, is Bo Melton.
Nice.
And 3,300, who can just go off. For that price, it's a pretty good play. And then for the defense, I had to go with the Patriots just because Miami's offenses look so bad as of late. Yeah. But I know the Patriots are probably going to be really highly owned, I imagine.
I like it, man. Projected to win for them.
Yeah, the Melton. I just had to jot that down because it just came to me while we were recording, and I know how these things go. You don't write it down, and then you forget it, and then Sunday, Bo Melton goes off, and you're like, I can't believe I was onto the guy and I didn't play any of him. So I had to make a note so that I play him.
Hope it works out. So to reiterate, it's Burrow, Eckler, James Cook, Chase, Flowers, Brian Thomas, Evan Ingram, Bo Melton, and the Patriots D.
Nice. I like it. Before I get into my lineup, I want to shout something out real quick. Eric, you mentioned last week that, you think DFS Army wins like a lot more than some bigger sites. So Daily Overlay, they posted this yesterday, and it's not the first time I've seen this, but they rank over 25 NFL sites for DFS picks. And through week 4, they have DFS Army's domination station number 1. So nice. Over Roto Grinders, which, it's been doing it a long time. So shout out to DFS Army's Domination Station, because that is what I use to build my lineups and the lineup that I'm going with. And, in fact, a lot of big winners with DFS Army this year so far and years past. So it's proven. That's why Daily Overlay has ranked it so highly. And right now they are doing a promo $44.99 for your first month. This includes all DFS sports. So the big four are pretty much all going to be running simultaneously here in a couple weeks. And you can get all that for 40% off. Use code VIP50. I will put the link in the video description. Check it out. If you don't like it, you can cancel. But I think a lot of people see the Discord community as, a big reason why they love it. And obviously all the other tools that can help you win. But my lineup, I obviously got number 3. So that was a Jordan Love stack that I want to target. And I went with Jordan Love, and this was what the Domination Station gave me. And of course, I built 150 of these lineups, as you can see here, number of lineups. I kind of set my ownership cap to 130% because the average to win the Millie Maker is normally like 120, 125. So I normally don't want to go above that. So I maxed it at 130%. And this is one of the lineups that it gave me that I really like, because we had talked about, Derrick Henry being a core play, Nico Collins being a core play, Curtis Samuel. I boosted him up a little bit, so I got him. He's projected for 1% ownership. So what I got was a Jordan Love double stack with Tucker Kraft, Dontavian Wicks. I don't know why I'm saying Dontavius. And Kyron Williams bring back and Jordan Whittington bring back. So this is actually giving me a lot of this game, some heavy game stacks. And normally when the Domination Station is pushing that, I just like to go with it because it knows something that I don't. So it's thinking this game could probably shoot out. So yeah, I'll take 5 players from this game. Why not? I got Curtis Samuel and Nico Collins actually secondary stack. So that's something that wins a lot of Millie Makers too, is a secondary stack. So I like that. Curtis Samuel 1% ownership. I got Derrick Henry, so I like him. Ravens defense, they're low owned, and they correlate very well with Derrick Henry. So a lot of correlation in this lineup. I like it. I think it could potentially take it down.
You got 2 stud running backs in there, man. It's a good start. I'm surprised on Curtis Samuel this year. He's been a really good player throughout the years, so maybe this is the week.
Maybe he's a guy you need this week. Hopefully, that's what that lineup is hoping, right? So,
absolutely, man. I like it.
Thank you. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this week, guys. Any final thoughts?
No, I look forward to seeing you guys in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the London game tomorrow. So I get to start on that, and I don't get football all day anymore, but at least I get it for most of the day tomorrow. So I'll take it.
Yeah, we're excited. We'll have to record at a different time when it's all nighttime for us. When you're here, we can record and we can have some drinks, do some shot time, and talk about DFS and fantasy football. So
look forward to it.
Me too. Well, guys, best of luck. Anyone watching, thank you for watching. Hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Got a lot more DFS content coming your way, so you don't want to miss it. And we will see you all next week.